Men work longer hours, they work more dangerous jobs, they're more likely to move, they're more likely to work outside.
How about the fact that 80% of suicides are men? Would society and feminists think that it's a good idea to equalize that?
What do you understand by equality, Sophie? What does it mean to you?
Freedom.
Can you be more... Is it equality of opportunity? Is it equal pay across the board? Is it something more than that?
I think equality is better for everyone. I think,
okay.
you know, and I'm really delighted, you know, I love my job because it's an opportunity.
What do you think equality means? Well, I really love my job.
And a hopeful job, which is about creating more choices for people. I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Aha, well, so you're going to have choices and equality of...
You can hear Jordan Peterson in that moment said aha, because that really was an aha moment, because she just said what they want is equality of opportunity. That was very poor wording, because equality of opportunity means despite the work and value that you are producing, you want equal outcome. You want equal payment, even though you're not producing as much. And if we were to be in a factory of lamps, imagine that some of the workers weren't creating very high quality lamps, or they weren't producing as many lamps. What people would want in this type of society that this lady is pushing for is that you can't get fired even though you're doing a poor job, and that you deserve the same pay as another employee who is making better lamps and producing more lamps. And to me, this sounds like communism, where the government has all the control, all the power, and where the government considers the people too stupid to be able to distribute the wealth in a manner that makes sense. So they divide it amongst everybody, which is a horrible idea, because if you look at Cuba, you'll see that doctors are literally becoming taxi drivers because they get paid more. So in this world where feminists should get paid as much as men, it takes away all the drive and motivation that humans have to work and progress as a society.
outcome. What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia? So the Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries, and the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean by STEM?
This is known as the Scandinavian equality paradox, because Scandinavia is the most gender equal country. Nordic women are getting more education and there's more women in the work field, and despite all of that, these women are not in the higher roles as you would think that they should be.
Fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you let men and women make their choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations, and you don't get equality of outcome.
Could they not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No, because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear. And most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
Sophie,
I think the difference...
He's so data-based that he's not making these opinions up from his political perspective. This is literally facts.
What's between Jordan and me is that we look at evidence and we lean towards different theories. So Jordan's theory is very much evolutionary, you know, that there are inherent differences in men and women. Mine is very much more social role theory, if you like, and that men and women are taking on different roles due to the expectations that society puts on them. And
I would say nowadays women are expected way more than men are to work. Me, myself, I have been judged for the career that I've chosen. I've been judged for working as a mom. I've been judged to work. I've been told not to work. Women are being forced and told what to do so much. So the more that people are saying that women need to have more freedom and you need to be free, that means that you need to work. People are literally telling us what to do. And it's like, you're not giving me freedom of any choices by telling me what to do, telling me where I need to work, telling me how much money I need to make. As a woman, We naturally provide so much to the world through our bodies. Our bodies literally make humans, and we nurture those humans with our bodies. And so instead of forcing all these career options and everything onto us, why can't we just live in our natural feminine state?
It's interesting that Jordan frequently cites Scandinavian countries where they've made more, like there's nowhere in the world that women are equal, but Scandinavia has made the most progress towards...
There's nowhere in the world that men and women are equal because we are literally not equal. We're different.
Shared parenting, etc.
Yep.
That said, it's not done yet. There's nowhere in the world where this is done yet.
But it's having the opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same.
No,
and it isn't a theory, it's actually data driven by tens of thousands of surveys and the best scientific literature on the topic. It's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow. They don't shrink.
So what I'm interested in is data and analysis as well, and I'm particularly interested in the ones presented, such as the ones by the University of...
I'm particularly interested in the one study that is going to prove my point.
Southern California, which discovered that change towards gender equality is actually being slowed by beliefs that are legitimizing social inequalities on the basis of sex. And I'm also interested, I mean, like Jordan, I look at the data and I look at the studies, and I'm really also very much interested in studies like the analysis that was done by the American Psychological Society, which looked at 45 analysis of whether there's sex difference over 20 years. And its conclusion was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh God, so it's...
I do believe that the media pushes so many ideas and ideologies onto us that are so harmful and destructive to the families and to societies as a whole. So I agree. However, gender and being a certain sex, either male or female, does not come from the media. And even though there are stereotypes that are played out and exaggerated, it does not make us the same. In Adam and Eve, the book of the Bible, God told the male that he is going to labor for the rest of his life, to work, and that women were to experience labor pains. Now we see men in the media trying to experience menstrual pains, and we see women try to take over men's roles. It is a completely upside down society, and I think that it's silly, and these are important conversations to have. So I appreciate the fact that she is having this conversation with Jordan Peterson, who is a very intellectual person, and it would be difficult to try to argue against him. So I guess we could at least applaud her bravery.
No, well, you know, you're leaving soon. It's
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different. But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people, they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that? Just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that?
That's right. I love that she agrees.
Men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside.
How about the fact that 80% of suicides are men? Would society and feminists think that it's a good idea to equalize that? Probably some of them would, because what feminism has come to is the hatred of men. That's what it is.
They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis, and trying to
Michael, I was just going to say, Sophie, can you come back on that?
If you look at the University of Vermont in 2023, 62% of the class were women. More women are going to college than men. So feminism has gone too far, and now men are actually at the disadvantage. And this university is now nicknamed as Girlington. Also, 21% of men report that they binge drink on a daily basis. And I think that that's incredibly sad, because that is double the amount of women doing that. And I stopped drinking completely. I haven't had any alcohol for like 2 years, and it's been so good for my life because I don't waste time. I don't do as many stupid things, and I'm just so much more ordered, and I have my thoughts more together. And if you guys want to learn about goal setting, I've come so far in my life, and I want to help other people who are in a dark time right now and maybe don't know what their life purpose is. I've been there, and I want to help you guys set your goals and write them down. So you guys should become a channel member so you guys can get my goal series.
To equalise is opportunity and choice.
Fine,
And
let's
I-
equalise
and-
choice.
you agree-
and I think-
you
and I
agree on
think
that.
But we won't get equal outcome that way.
And I think that what happens then, nobody knows, because we've never done it yet.
We do know.
But
We
I
know
think
what's happened in
it has-
Scandinavia.
But it's not
Scandinavia's
fully
not
got there yet.
finished
No, but it's going in the opposite direction that everyone predicted, and
You know,
strongly.
I think one of the things I loved about Jordan's book, which I speed read last night, so forgive me, Jordan, I've not read every line. But one of my favourite rules in Jordan's book is Rule 9, which says, assume the person you are listening to might know something you don't.
Okay, like she's trying to pin his own words against him somehow by saying that maybe she knows something he doesn't. And I would say it's not that she knows something that he doesn't, but it's that men will never be able to think in the manner that a woman thinks. So we will never be able to achieve equality of outcome. You can have the same opportunities, but the outcomes are always going to be different because women, we are not as physically strong as men, and we think differently. Men are literally wired to work. Women are literally wired to have children. I'm sorry, we didn't make up the rules. When you have your own planet, you can make up your own rules if it bothers you, but we have to work with what we have.
And I think that in a country where men outnumber women by 2 to 1 in Parliament, in local government, where women's voices are not equally represented in media, where our education systems...
I mean, like, I think that is wild because whatever you put your focus on, you're going to get more of. And so if you look up on Google, tell me ways that women's voices are not shown in media, you're going to get answers for that. And so literally whatever you put your focus on. And that is why gratitude is more important, because we have a voice. I'm literally posting a video right now yelling, and I have a voice. Women have a voice. We have the opportunities. Whether women are taking them or not is really none of your business. And I don't think that women are free by being forced into career choices that they don't want.
Still are teaching boys and girls ideas of pink and blue. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is work with thousands of optimistic, hopeful people for change.
Okay.
Okay, but like in order to create any change in life, you need to do 3 things. First of all, you need to have awareness that there's a problem. And to have awareness, you need to have awareness of the whole entire situation. You can't just say, well, women are not getting paid as much as men. That's my whole awareness. No, you need to look at the whole situation and say, okay, this is what's going on. We have biological differences, and incorporate that into the piece of awareness too. Only then can you make a qualified and intelligent, logical decision, which is the second step. Because if you don't have full awareness, how are you going to make a logical, good decision? And after you make that decision, then you need to take action upon it. And so it all starts with becoming aware of the whole thing. And I applaud Jordan Peterson for helping us have full awareness of the situation that is happening between men and women, and that men are actually at a disadvantage now because of how extreme feminism has become, to the point where it is basically communism.
Get very quiet through this, Michael. I'm going to make you put you under a bit of pressure. Do forgive me. I'm going to come to the calls in a moment. Your boss called the gender pay gap a burning injustice. Is it?
Yes, it is, because there should be inequality of opportunity. There needs to be the same rights. But you know something...
Okay, if there needs to be like equality of opportunity, then let's flip the script for a second. How come men wouldn't be able to go on OnlyFans and make $1 million? Where's the equality there? Or why is it that Elon Musk is literally started out by cleaning a boiler room, literally risking his life, and at the same time, his ex-wife now has a net worth of $3 to $5 million that most of it she got in the divorce settlement? Where's the equality there? She didn't work in any boilers, and I'm sure she had some involvement in the business, but definitely not as Elon Musk did. So where's the equality of opportunity there? And why is it that women are getting a better outcome than the men are, even though they're the ones who are putting in the work?
It surprised me
quality of
that
outcome.
neither of you, and the quality of outcome, sure, all of that. But the one thing both of you haven't mentioned is the biological difference, which unfortunately affects women's career prospects, whether we like
Babies
it or not.
as well, yeah.
Babies. And that does cause a problem. You know, if I were to take a sabbatical from a corporation for a while, it's going to set me back slightly. And
Yeah.
it is a problem.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. And women try so hard to change it instead of just accepting it. And literally, like now we have tampons, we have birth control. Women have even taken abortion as a right of theirs. And so we're literally not even having as many kids. If we continue to try to force the equality of outcome, then our population is going to die off. In 2023, the average woman has 1.6 children. That doesn't mean she has a half of a child. So that means that it's just an average. And then in 1950, women had 2.1 children. So our population is literally declining. I feel like the white people are literally disappearing because people in first world countries are the ones who take the most birth controls, have the most abortions. And so in all of these places where they're supposedly getting all these equal opportunities, women are not able to fulfill our life purpose, which is literally, in many cases, to have children. It depends on what your calling is, of course, but I just find it strange that a woman's calling should be to be a construction worker. I don't think that she'll be able to lift as many bricks. And yes, there's certain cases, like you guys have seen in my Men versus Sports videos, that some women, some extreme outliers of women are stronger than men, but it's very, very rare. Men are built differently. You can see in our body structures. Women, we have heavier waists. Our hips are different, and we have more fat on our bodies, while men are just stronger. They're meant to do work.
Biologically, it's women who have babies, not men.
Sure, but that's why the Women's Equality Party is the only party in the UK that's got policies around shared parental leave.
She's so political.
We're the only party that has got fully costed plans for universal free childcare. What we're saying is that
You're trying to change the
we're trying to change the outcomes, and also men are.
Okay, now let's talk about childcare too, because there's another thing. If you do have a nanny, then your kids are going to be raised by a nanny. Therefore, they're not going to have as much connection with their mother, and they're also not going to be so used to being with their parents, which can be damaging for the child. So it is more normal for the dad to be gone and working while the child is with the mother. Now, if both of the parents are out working, then this child is basically being raised by a stranger. They could basically being somewhat a little bit adopted by them. And on top of that, we have so many other costs. When a woman begins to work outside of the house too, there's also the cost of gasoline. You're going to be fixing that car. You're going to be getting clothes. You're going to be getting makeup, a lot of stuff to look good at your job as well, and other things to support the job. And you might even be feeling more stress, which is going to increase your consumption. You're going to be buying more food, more luxuries, because you're going to feel like you deserve it. So therefore, the expenses of the family increase so much because the woman is also working in the household. Whereas if one man is working and supporting the household, the mother can stay home and take care of the baby, then you're not going to have to pay for childcare. Your child will actually know you as a parent, and you'll be able to raise that kid with the ideologies that you believe in, instead of having it go out to a stranger and outsource your parenting. So there is reasons why women are created different, and there's great reasons why women should embrace our natural roles of motherhood, being a wife, and just being feminine and not being forced into the field for the rest of our life as if that is our life purpose, when literally the first book of the Bible says that women, our duty, our mission in life is to have children. That's just the way it is.
Joining our party, men who are
I
really
think,
as I said,
tired.
you've got
I'm sure I'm going to have a word with Michael, because I am sure he'll want the application.
Okay, forgive me.
We take joint
Forgive me, I
membership.
want to take one call if
But-
you'll forgive me, because time is really short, and I owe it to the viewers to hear their views on this.
We've got Salim calling from Manchester.
Salim, good morning.
Hi Matthew, how you doing?
I'm very well. I'm loving it. I'm a pig in heaven today. What do we think about equality? Will it ever happen, Salim?
I was going to say I thought it was going to happen, but after listening to Jordan, he's swayed my opinion.
Why did you think it was going to happen?
Because I think we're going to become more cognitive creatures, and jobs are going to be more about mental skills.
Technology.
But then I've been visited schools, and I work in STEM. I'm a software developer, and the number of women doing software development hasn't increased. I would have thought they would have increased more, but I went into secondary school to do GCSE IT stuff, and there's very, very few girls doing IT, and I was thinking IT is the future, and the schools are pushing for more girls to go into IT, but there's only I visited about 8 schools.
Can I just, sorry, Salim, can I just
no,
because I'm 30 seconds. Sophie's idea, actually, representations in the media could be affecting such choices. Geeks, we see geeks, bespectacled blokes with bad hair on computers. That's what tech means, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because I think actually that one of the other things we want to do is to have a look at curriculums, to have more female role models, to encourage girls, because so long as we still see STEM as a boys' area that we're trying to get girls into, it's not going to work. We need to do the work we're doing on care, get more boys thinking about, nursing.
Yeah.
See, let's force the boys to do something that they don't want to do.
Teaching more role models to boys in schools.
And
That's the
having
way you break
games
it all
on
down.
programmes like EastEnders, The Archers, that's helped them a lot.
Right, so, listen, I have to draw things to a conclusion.
Keep having these conversations. Make sure you subscribe to my channel or become a member so you can get the goal setting series.